keep coming as the Democrats clamor for attention, putting their hands in the air like they just don't care in an all-out attack of one another on the debate stage in Charleston, South Carolina. You'll have to see who comes out at the top. Strong hint, it's not anyone who took the stage. I'm Katie Petrick, and this is Healthy Republic. We're going to make this short, but I know it won't be sweet like Carolina barbecue sauce. Nonetheless, let's take a look at all that was at the South Carolina Democratic debate on Tuesday night. Before this, today's question: how many times did I yell, "What a load of bullshit," while watching the debate? Just take a guess, and then double it, and carry the one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And without further ado, let the storm commence.
Hey, Mr. Putin, if I'm president of the United States, trust me.
Bernie, I was talking about I would like
program.
Senator Sanders.
I think what's right for New York City isn't necessarily right for all the other cities. Otherwise, you'd have a naked cowboy in every city.
Do we think health care for all, Pete, is some kind of radical communist idea? Do we think raising the minimum wage to a living wage? Do we think building the millions of units of affordable housing that we need? Do we think raising taxes on billionaires is a radical idea?
Let's talk about what's radical about that plan.
Reform is a radical idea.
The things you just named.
Do we think immigration reform? The truth is, Pete, that the American people support my agenda. That is why I am beating Trump in virtually every poll that has done, and why I will defeat him.
We got to open this up.
That I really am surprised that all of these, my fellow contestants up here, I guess would be the right word for it, given nobody pays attention to the clock. I'm surprised they show up, because I would have thought after I did such a good job in beating them last week that they'd be a little bit afraid to do that.
Thank you, Mayor Buttigieg. Vice President Biden, please.
I guess the only way you do this is jump in and speak twice as long as you should.
Let's talk about math. Okay, so here's the math. No, here's the math.
Can I respond to the
doing nothing is what will happen.
Senator Sanders, you're allowed a quick response, and then we would like to allow the other candidates.
Moderator,
Senator
guys.
Sanders? Senator Sanders?
Moderator. Is it my turn?
This helps a lot, doesn't it?
Math is like so hard. The good news is that this should be the last time we have to endure hearing from most of those candidates. After Super Tuesday, they should mostly drop out. But then again, why would they do anything sensible? As demonstrated on the stage, they were anything but sensible. The sad truth is that Senator Amy Klobuchar answered the questions that were asked of her, and she made much more sense than anyone else on that stage.
We have a clear choice of who's going to lead this party. And I am the only one in the New Hampshire debate, when asked if we had a problem with a socialist leading the ticket, that raised my hand.
But she was also the one who said this.
I look at these proposals and say, do they hurt my Uncle Dick in the deer stand? He literally thinks he can go over and bring a hot dish to the dictator next door. This president just likes to do tweets at 4 a.m. in his bathrobe.
I am so glad Uncle Dick made a return. He probably ate up a few of those hot dishes in the deer stand. And for those of you not from the upper Midwest, she's talking about a casserole, maybe a goulash or a stew, basically just a covered dish. To the other female candidate now, Elizabeth Warren made it pretty obvious by her lips being square on Bernie's back end that she wants to be his VP pick.
Bernie and I agree. Bernie and I both. We both got our chance. Bernie and I both.
And then she picked up where she left off in the attack against Mike Bloomberg regarding female employees, and it clearly demonstrated her cognitive dissonance.
At least I didn't have a boss who said to me, kill it, the way that Mayor Bloomberg
never
alleged
said that.
to have said to one of his pregnant employees.
This is the same Elizabeth Warren who is totes okay with killing every unborn child if the woman decides she simply just doesn't want it anymore, but is now up in arms that Bloomberg may have told an employee to get an abortion. Both are horrific, and yet only the one bothers Warren. On the same thread of pandering, being in South Carolina, the candidates went full race pander and expressed all of their white guilt.
I'm conscious of the fact that there's 7 white people on this stage talking about racial justice. None of us have the experience, the lived experience
I'm looking forward to making sure there's a black woman on the Supreme Court to make sure we, in fact, get every representation. Not a joke. Not a joke.
I know that if I were black, my success would have been a lot harder to achieve. And I know a lot of black people that if they were white, it would have been a lot easier for them.
Right now, if you live in a black neighborhood and you have the same exact house as the guy across the street in a white neighborhood has, your house is valued significantly less than the white. The same exact house. We've got to deal with the institutional racism.
Vice President.
With all of the yelling at and over each other, the candidates didn't have as much time to talk about President Trump. But Bernie did decide to mock him when discussing the coronavirus.
In the White House today, we have a self-described great genius. Self-described.
Not so much a Bernie burn as it is a compliment. The best part of the night was the candidates' attempts to sound cool, hip, and with it. To close out the debate, they were asked to provide the biggest misconception about them. And boy, did they disappoint in the laughs and substance.
The biggest misconception is that I'm boring, because I'm not.
I have more hair than I think I do.
Well, I suppose one misconception is that I don't eat very much. In fact, I eat all the time.
Misconception that I'm 6 feet tall.
Misconception, and you're hearing it here tonight, is that the ideas I'm talking about are radical.
No, your ears are not deceiving you, but Bernie sure is. He really did just say that his ideas are not radical. Earlier in the debate, he was questioned on his praise of Cuba, and he outright defended it.
By and large, Cuba's educational system for a poor country is pretty good. When Castro came to power, they did a lot to eliminate illiteracy in that country. So yes, you don't have to praise everything about Fidel Castro. It's a dictatorship. It's a poor economy. We want changes. But have some good things been done in Cuba? Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a clip from an interview with Anderson Cooper from the 2016 election. Surely Bernie has come to his senses this time around.
But it's unfair to simply say everything is bad. When Fidel Castro came into office, you know what he did? He had a massive literacy program. Is that a bad thing? Even though Fidel Castro did it?
Nope. Same sentiment this time around. Yes, kids may be starving, but they read real good. Starve with Dick and Jane. Starve, Jane. Starve. Starve, starve. See no food, Dick. No food. No food. Shh, everyone. I'm trying to read a book.
I'm sorry.
I know
It's a
it
big
goes
wall.
fast, but a minute 15 is really a long time. So we'd ask respectfully if you would all please try to keep to the
Good
time.
idea.
The cat's out of the bag.
Could I finish, Margaret?
Mr. Vice
I know how you cut me off all the time, but I'm not going to be quiet anymore, okay?
Oh, I
What
thought
was
we
your
had a
motto?
minute to answer the
No,
question.
what was...
And if we don't, look, why am I stopping? No one else stops.
Actually, Joe, why are you still going? Per usual, it was a mostly sad showing by the senile ex-vice president, and per usual, it wasn't just at the debate. Blunder Biden continued on the campaign trail in the lead up to the debate, telling a crowd at the First in the South dinner in Charleston that he was running for the Senate.
And I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. Give me a look, though, okay? That's all I've really got to say to you.
That'd be funny if it wasn't just so sad at this point. I mean, seriously, at what point do you just sit Joe down and provide him the pamphlets for Sunnyside Acres? He doesn't know where he is half the time. He doesn't know what office his son held. He doesn't know what office he's running for. He doesn't know how to put words into sentences that make any sense. Joe has been saying for months that South Carolina will be his bread and butter, but due to the prominence of vegans in the voting base, he has shied away from touting how well he will do in Saturday's primary.
South Carolina, though, was your firewall.
You said it, my firewall. I've never said
The campaign has said it's your firewall.
No, it's not fire. I said I'm going to do well there.
Are you really surprised by what I'm about to show you? You know Joe has said it was his firewall, and he just can't remember.
And I think I have a real firewall in South Carolina.
I think the bread and butter comment is a more justifiable reasoning, and he should have used it. But what is his excuse for an estimated 19% drop in support from the black voting bloc that Biden has been touting for months?
What's happening is you have Steyer spending hundreds of millions, tens of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars.
Oh, Joseph. But at the debate, he came back strong, or something.
I've worked like the devil to earn the vote of the African American community. I will win South Carolina.
We'll see, as we will with all of the candidates in the South Carolina primary when it happens on Saturday. I will say that invoking the devil on that stage with that group of people is pretty much appropriate. I thought the devil went down to Georgia, but maybe he made a stop in South Carolina first. Either way, until next time, stay healthy, America.